Hello and welcome to Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shifarao Lako. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has met with the leadership of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and discussed various issues. On the occasion, the Prime Minister expressed pride in nation's defense forces as guardians of peace and protectors of sovereignty. The Premier also stressed the need to strengthen discipline and professionalism, holding accountable those that undertake mischievous conducts in any operation which does not represent the ENDF's value. Rewarding those who are brave and disciplined is necessary, the Premier said. Accountability and disciplinary gaps will be addressed through the appropriate channels, the Premier has underlined. A U.S. delegation led by Senator Chris Coons Saturday discussed a range of issues with Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dammeka Mekonnen. Dammeka briefed the delegation about the real situation in Tigray so as to clear confusions that the U.S. government previously had. The Deputy Premier unequivocally asserted to the delegation that Ethiopia does not want interference in its internal affairs. Solomon Danye reports.
This is the first American delegation that arrived in Addis Ababa for an official visit since President Biden took office. The delegation led by Chris Coons seeks to discuss the humanitarian situation in Tigray and the nature of the military oppression the government of Ethiopia is carrying out in the state of Tigray. Receiving the delegation early in the afternoon, Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dammeka Mekonnen clarified the confusions that the U.S. government had about the military oppression in Tigray. It's to be recalled that the Ethiopian Minister of Foreign Affairs debunked a blatant statement released by America's Secretary of State Antony Blinken about the situation in Tigray. Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dina Mufti, who attended the discussion, said the meeting was decisive to let America know about the truth.
This face-to-face engagement, and especially the coming of the delegation, will help to clear confusions that had been around from various sources, and definitely things will be straight out in favor of peace and order. He listened attentively to the briefings of the Deputy Prime Minister. He is fascinated and he is very much comfortable with the way he has given the briefings. We believe he has understood or has definitely realized the situation on the ground, and definitely will carry out the right message, the message that will be constructive, the message that will help strengthening existing relationship between the two countries.
According to Ambassador Dina, Senator Chris Coons and his country America considers Ethiopia a strategic ally in Eastern Africa. Reaffirming America's commitment to closely follow the situation in Ethiopia, Senator Coons urged the government and humanitarian organizations to intensify humanitarian assistance in Tigray.
There is also strong willing and desire on the part of the Ethiopian government so as to create conducive situations for the investigations into alleged crimes of human rights violations through independent agencies, in cooperation with agencies like the African Human Rights Commissions and the UN Human Rights Agencies, as well as domestic pertinent institutions like Ethiopian attorneys, federal police commissions and others. The government is ready to carry out independent and critical investigations into the allegations of the human rights violations.
Foreign Minister Dammeka Mekonnen unequivocally asserted that Ethiopia does not want any interference in its law enforcement operation under its territory. Also briefed the delegation about Sudan's aggression in the border areas. Regarding the GERD, Dammeka said Ethiopia wants to stick to the tripartite negotiation which is being held under the auspices of the African Union.
The Ethiopian Federal Police Commission and South Sudan National Police Service have signed a memorandum of understanding to conduct joint operation at border areas. The MOU was signed in Juba yesterday by Ethiopian Federal Police Commission Commissioner General Damalash Gebramikael and Inspector General of Police Service General Majak Akek Malok of South Sudan National Police Service. According to the agreement, the two countries will conduct joint operation to stem cross-border crimes, human trafficking, and flow of illicit arms. They will also share information and experience as well as cooperate in training of South Sudan police officers in Ethiopia's Police University College. Commissioner General Damalash on the occasion said the MOU would have a significant contribution to maintain sustainable peace in the region. General Majak Akek Malo, for his part, said the MOU would further strengthen the relations between the two countries. Now, in business, economists put the blame for the soaring inflations as well as rising cost of living on political and economic reasons. They reiterate that the government must desist from blaming traders and resolve the problem by using various rectifying measures. Mentioning various actors sabotaging the economy, they urge the government to take stern measures against such actions. Goshu Malisau reports.
Over the past 3 years, Ethiopia has seen instability here and there. Thus, the lives of many people were disrupted. And now, the people are being severely affected by the galloping cost of living. The latest report from the Central Statistics Agency shows that the average price change of goods and services in February alone grew by 20.6%. Reflecting their view on the matter, economists approached by TV said the current skyrocketing inflation rate and cost of living is caused by political and economic crisis in the country.
There's a combination of economic and political reasons. As I said, the political reasons are usually tied up to security issues, but also to issues related to government choices in terms of, for example, withdrawing subsidies. This is more of political, actually, decision rather than economic decisions. The economic aspects, again, are tied up also to securities. People cannot get, or traders cannot get inputs actually for their manufacturing plants, and so it's very difficult actually.
Where we have always conflicts, when you have some interventions by the government, which is primarily politically driven, then there will be instability, be it in the production system or in the supply chain, of goods and services from one place to another.
According to The Economist, the recent price hike on fuel has exacerbated the problem as has injected money.
Yes, the fuel increase has contributed, but as I said, the prices has been going on for quite some time. There's also another component actually is also the government's printing money also to cover part of its costs and expenses has also contributed to the hike in prices. So there are a variety of reasons why the prices has been increasing and has stayed up actually here in Ethiopia today.
The Economists called upon the government to take serious measurements against economic sabotages inside and outside its formal structures.
The first proper assignment the government has from the public is to regulate and control those who are playing in the market. That's what we wanted the government to do, be it in the inputs market, in the product market, in the finance market. And instead of creating enterprises to distribute or, like as you said, purchase and distribute, no, do the proper regulatory and controlling interventions and take action. Because economic sabotages exist within the government system. Economic sabotages exist within the population. And economic sabotages come from outside and exist in the country through different multilateral and bilateral institutions.
Both of them agreed that the government should resolve the issue on its part before pointing fingers at traders alone.
instead of politicizing, the Warada Bureau of Commerce and so forth talks about they are not able to control this. Then who should do it then? Okay. Why are we there? There is something wrong. So let's stop those and focus. One, the first thing, what we have to focus on is the government has to do its proper job.
It's a free market, actually. I mean, in one way or another. Then the tendency is for the market to dictate, as I said. It's very difficult to blame everything on the traders, actually, because, as I said, there are a lot of decisions that were made beyond, actually, the preview of the traders.
Economists suggested that the government should put in place strict regulations, long-term plans, and increase production and productivity. Otherwise, they warned the situation may spiral out of control, leading to political and economic chaos.
The measure that has been taken, I'm not arguing is bad. Okay, economists has to come out of subsidy programs, be it in oil or wheat, what have you. But the timing and the rate of elevating those, supports must be carefully studied, because it can lead you to political chaoses. That's what I'm noticing. I don't think the government has totally believed with the amount of the oil price increase recently. I am suspecting there is a force behind it, forces like the World Bank, the IMF.
Actually, one has to look at the recent history. What happened actually in Tunisia?
In another story, the price hike in consumer goods and the soaring inflation rate is exacerbating the living conditions of people in Ethiopia. Being challenged by such chronic social problems, the Ethiopian government is inviting big businesses to provide goods in fair prices to ease the problem. Midrock Investment Group, one of the huge conglomerates in the country, has inaugurated its 7th supermarket branch at a cost of 1 billion birr. Kazam Chane presents the story as follows.
የኩዊንስ ሱፐርማርኬት 7ኛው ቅርንጫፍ ሪባን በመቁረጥ ተበስሯል። እንኳን ደስ ያላችሁ።
The 1 billion birr supermarket owned by the Midrock Ethiopia Group has been officially inaugurated at the presence of dignitaries. During the occasion, the Chief Executive Officer of Midrock Investment Group, Jamal Ahmed, said Midrock Investment Group has been playing a significant role in eliminating unnecessary market expenses by creating direct linkage with consumers and opportunities for sustainable market linkage, supporting the government's tremendous efforts to reduce the cost of living.
The rise in price of goods is becoming a chronic issue, which requires policy interventions to everlastingly address it. We believe that the government is well aware of the situation and trying to deal with it. But the shortest solution that is believed in Midrock Investment Group is shortening the market linkages and providing goods directly to the consumers. That's what we're trying to do by opening the Queen's supermarket. And we're trying to take the lion's share through stabilizing the market in the capital in a very affordable price alongside the government, as it is an institution of the public.
Dashin Bank Chief Executive Officer Asfar Alam on his part expressed that Queen Supermarket is playing a critical role through introducing modern payment systems besides ensuring the supply of basic consumption goods.
ከኩዊንስ ጋር ወይም ከኢንቨስትመንት ግሩፕ ጋር ደግሞ የሚኖረን ትልቁ ግንኙነት ምንድነው?
Our relationship with Queen's Supermarket or the Midrock Group will be based on facilitating trade. We will provide modern payment systems that reduce inconveniences while customers buy goods.
The Midrock Investment Group is working to expand its branch into 28 throughout the capital.
The Ethiopian government has granted over $44 million foreign currency to Shemu and Fibela edible oil factories to address the shortage of oil supply in the country. Trade and Industry Minister Malaku Alabel has expressed the necessity of excise tax reduction on edible oil import from 58% to only 5% to stabilize the market. Alula Taklamariam presents the story as follows.
Trade and Industry Minister Melaku Lebel said the government is offering loan service to local edible oil factories with the intention of stabilizing oil price, which has been soaring recently.
ይህን ችግር ለመፍታት እንደ መንግስት እያደረግን ያለነው የአገር ውስጥ አምራች ኢንዱስትሪዎችን የመደገፍና
The government is doing its level best to stabilize the market through supporting local oil factories, enabled to capacitate their production rate in line with the growing demand. Shemu and Fibela oil factories are the two factories which the government is providing foreign currency rate amounting $44 million. So, they can easily import raw materials and process here in the country.
The minister also noted the necessity of excise tax reduction on oil import from 58% to only 5% to stabilize the market.
ከታክስ ጋር ተያይዞ ያሉትን ከዚህ በፊት የነበረው እስከ 58% ይደርስ የነበረውን ታክስ ዝቅ በማድረግ
Activities are underway to import huge amount of oil by diminishing excise tax from 58% to 5% to meet the demand side in addition to the local products.
ከዚህ በፊት ፋብሪካዎች ጋር እና ከውጭ የሚመጣውን ምርት ያከፋፍሉ የነበሩ የመንግስት የልማት ድርጅቶች
Previously, there were government development stakes distributing oil products to wholesalers. They were chosen because of their better warehouses. But to fully address the challenge in connection to the supply chain, factories will make additional efforts.
While visiting Shemu oil factory in Redawa city, Malaku said a sustainable market chain will be put in place. Shemu oil factory is expected to cover 30% of the country's edible oil demand upon fully operational, as Febela will supply 60% of the total demand.
Let me remind you of the top stories before you go. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed discusses with the leadership of the National Army. That's all the news there is for now. Many thanks for watching us.